Okay, so we're going to move into the last part of the ceremony, which is the graduation. And I just have to take a moment to, we have come to think of these three young women as kind of interconnected. there's Barsha, there's Manoush, and there's Carlotta, and they're all kind of interwoven because they've been the core of our school. And then the reference point is you were just mentioning. And it's been a blessing for all of us. It's you could say that in any situation, but especially this time because they were the ones that really created this school. They were the ones that showed us that we could actually move ahead in the things that are so important to us as teachers and parents, and made it so that it's possible. So we're going to take some time to celebrate them. Each person will get a diploma, and they have a chance to give a speech if they have anything left to say, because we've said a lot already. But so if you want to just kind of briefly encapsulate, that's fine too. We're going to start with Varsha, and Kathy is going to present the diploma for her. I should mention that I have a chance right now. These certificates and diplomas were created by Yingbing. So math teachers can do artwork too. Okay, just to read it briefly, it says Living Wisdom International Online High School Diploma, Varsha Kinney, is recognized for the completion of all requirements for graduation. We extend our encouragement and support for the continuation of this excellent start in meeting life's challenges and for taking advantage of every opportunity for growth. June 4th, 2021. Okay, Kathy.
Beautiful. Okay, so Nitai had asked, would I say something? So different people will say something about each graduate, but I have to say, I just love all three of you. You're just wonderful. It's been such a great pleasure and honor working with you this year. So Varsha. So Varsha's been with us for 2 years, and I have had the great pleasure to know her and see her grow and change over these years. She was a bit shy at first, but always so willing to try new things and to have new adventures. And she essentially says yes to life every day. And she's fearless and independent-minded. One of the things I think of when I think of fearless was last year when she had auditioned for a youth choir in town when she was here at the village, and she got accepted, of course, and she joined the group on her own. Nobody else was doing it, didn't know anybody. And then this year she used her musical abilities to put her guitar and singing skills to use. I'm sure she did use them in other ways, but at least in my class, she would sing and play the guitar for homework answers. And they were always beautiful and fun, engaging, and educational at the same time. Varsha learned to longboard. So that's skateboarding on a longer board, which to me is fearless just to even think about wanting to do that. But Varsha is also an excellent student, always putting out so much energy to do her best. She worked incredibly hard this year at editing the podcast, as Rachel already mentioned, but she put in many, many hours. And of course, the end product was amazing. With Varsha, you can always count on things getting done and know that she'll come up with an amazing end product, whatever it is. She is thoughtful of others, and Usha mentioned that too, or somebody mentioned it, yeah. She would joyfully be involved in any service project, and I'm thinking of when she was here a year ago too, from cleaning or fixing any area to walking dogs in town, to painting mandalas, to garden work, to making pizza. That probably wasn't too hard, or pies and treats to give away. And this year I have seen Varsha become a patient and understanding leader, leading by her own example, which is a lot of times the best way to lead. Varsha, of course, does all these things with joy and love. She touches everyone's heart, and with her exuberance and her willingness and her kindness. And we are all better off to know Varsha. So congratulations.
Thank you. At the end, I thought you were going to say we're all off better without you.
No, I would never say that.
Thank you so much. I'm trying not to cry today, and on the paper in front of me, I've also written, "Don't cry, take deep breaths." And I don't really know what to say. My mind was blank, and I couldn't think of anything to say. And Mahanush, Carlotta, and I have been discussing this in the past month that we cannot think of anything to say. But we're all like really thankful and grateful, and we have this love that cannot be expressed in words. And I started writing my graduation speech, and I realized that it's only until you start writing something like the graduation speech, you realize that I'm I don't need it. I don't need to write one. And so I'm gonna try and not ramble on tonight. And I just really want to thank everyone who's part of this school for the past 2 years. I've made amazing memories. Did longboarding. Kathy mentioned a lot of it. Longboarding, walking dogs at Sammy's. We had Thanksgiving without power. And on Thanksgiving Day, the news actually announced that community emerges after 8 days of no electricity to celebrate Halloween. That was really fun. And of course, Thanksgiving came after that, and we had the school Thanksgiving celebration. And then we went over to Irene and Nishtan's for the weekend and had a great dinner there, watched the football game. And those two were great people. Oh, yes, the Les Mis marathon till like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. I didn't stay up. And then we had pizza night, and Adam and Kahea were really good people, and we worked with them for pizza nights. And the choir in the second half of my junior year, I got to rehearse with the Ananda choir, and then I did the music in the mountains. That was really good. And we had Hawaii. And I think that's one of the main reasons my 2020 was not a flop. And the people are so good. I've felt a lot of love and support from them. And we hosted a tea party at Banyan before the end of semester last year. And this was when the pandemic had started, and schools were closing down, and people who were in the US from other countries had to go back, and we were being evacuated, I guess. And Usha took me aside, and she said something along the lines of, "Don't worry, Varsha, we care about you, and we'll make sure that you finish high school." And I'm really thankful to Manush because she started all of this, and without her, I may not have been able to finish high school. um, and I there are people who are not here today. I mean, not on Zoom. They're not on Zoom today. Like Joy, who was an amazing dorm mom, and she made us a lot of treats. She made us cupcakes and gave us chocolates and lemon bars. And if life ever gives you lemons, give them to Joy. I think that's something Neha came up with, but yeah. And then I'd like to thank Balarama for tricking us into thinking that chemistry could be fun. And Ganesha, aka John, he likes chocolates and loves math. And Blackpink recently, he's fallen for them. And all of his math classes were a lot of fun, and learned a lot about the American air base. Yeah. And talking about math, Yingbing was an amazing math teacher as well. And we've always said in our group chats, three of us, that Yingbing is such an angel. We love her. And that was really good. And Ben, he was there for Spanish in PE last year. And Bandu was also there. We did pickleball, and we had Spanish fun. We had Spanish lunch on Thursdays, and we had a Spanish fiesta. And the other interns, of course, who are not interns anymore. And Gopal for teaching us Tai Chi, and for the occasional ice cream treats. And Kamla for teaching us photography. And Usha, yes, I love you, Usha, for English class. It was, I always say this to my English teachers, that they're like the best English teacher, but I never really mean it. But I mean it when I say that Usha is the best English teacher. And Nitai, of course, he's like the backbone of this school, and a lot of support from Nitai. And the school board, of course, who I think secretly watches from people. And the meditation retreat people, they helped Durga especially. They hosted the best Christmas that I've ever attended. And my classmates, and especially my fellow graduating seniors, we've been there for each other, and virtually and in spirit. And that was all possible because of the school and my parents, of course. And lastly, I wanted to thank Kathy. She's always been there. Like literally, name an event and Kathy was there. We had amazing adventure Fridays, and Kathy always was the person to take us to new places, and she always had amazing stories to tell. And she may be all over the place and use her hands a bit too much, but she's awesome, and I love her. And I've really learned a lot being in this school, and I feel like I've been around the world at least once with this school, and now I'm gonna cry. But yeah, this was awesome. Thank you so much.
There you have it, Varsha. There's your diploma. Transition from the high school to your adult life.
Thank you. I cannot say this enough, but thank you.
Okay, so Usha, you're gonna say a little bit more about Carlotta.
Yes. I've only known Carlotta for this school year, but I'd heard of her before. I kept hearing about this amazing student in the online school in Italy named Carlotta. And I already knew Manushka. She'd been in my class 3 years ago. But anyway, I kept hearing about this amazing student, so I couldn't wait to meet her, but she surpassed all my expectations. I'm looking right at you, Carlotta. First thing I noticed about Carlotta was her intellectual curiosity. Everything I brought up, she would either know something about it already or something she could relate to it, or if not, by the next class, she would have looked it up and had more to say about it. I once asked her to do a report on, to just do a, I mean, not a report, just to find out what the Great Depression was and tell us about it. And she did this marvelous, incredible report on the Great Depression, which told me things I didn't know about it. It was interesting. It was so interesting. So that intellectual curiosity right from the beginning. really impressed me about Carlotta. And then as I got to know her better, and particularly after they wrote their memoirs, I could see that Carlotta was completely balanced in her intellect with heart. And one reason it was really fun to teach her literature is because, well, I could say this about all of them, but she felt it with her heart. In fact, she said, when she wrote her end of the year report, she said, when I was asked to be part of this online school, I guess that was 2 years ago, she said, I didn't know how I felt about, I love the fact that maybe could go back to Living Wisdom, but I didn't know how I felt about an online school. But they asked me to sit in on a class. And after I sat in on the class, I told my mother, I want to do this. I couldn't explain why. And she said, this may not be an exact quote, but it's the substance of it. When the heart speaks, you listen. And I just thought that's so wonderful that she has that and knows that. Also, I would never got to experience this, but Carlotta's a dancer. So such a well-rounded person. I've also witnessed occasionally in English class that she's a very loving aunt to her niece. And I think that relationship's very important to her. We all know she has a lot of courage. We've seen it this past year. She had the courage to go off to Milan to go to Rudolf Steiner School when she was only 15 by herself. So courageous, such intellectual curiosity, such a big heart. I can't say enough nice things, I don't believe. So let's hear from Carlotta. Carlotta, congratulations. It's been a pleasure to know you and work with you.
Thank
Aww.
you. Thank you so much. I didn't prepare a graduation speech. I thought that the only thing I could do was thank you all one by one, as I did before, and I did that right after the little speech about my award. So I sincerely am speechless, and I don't have words left. I think you can feel what I feel, and just I guess the biggest amount of gratitude that a person can feel, I'm feeling that. And so this is the end of high school. I can't believe it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, each one of you.
Thank you, Carlotta. Yeah. So to have just one of you as our oldest student would have been a blessing and a joy. To have all three of you is beyond anything I could have hoped for. So I have the opportunity to introduce our final graduate. So Manoush, it's been amazing, truly inspiring for me personally to work with you and your family. Spiritually uplifting. So I wanted to just retell the story a little bit. So about 2.5 years ago, this young girl sent in an application to our school, which at the time was completely residential. And she wanted to come to school here. And I read the application. I thought, oh, this is slam dunk. Of course we want her here. We'd love to have her here. So we went off and started doing all the paperwork, applying for the student visa, which we'd always had no problems with. Varsha and Arya are watching. They were both students who had simple student visas. But we had a different person as president at that point, and it changed everything. And the family went to New Delhi because of the political differences between Iran and the United States. They couldn't apply in Iran. And Manoush had a wonderful interview with the fellow, and he's ready to give her a visa. And he said, oh yeah, I have to go check with one of my supervisors first. And he goes in the other room and he comes back and his whole demeanor's changed. He looks nervous, sad, frustrated, and he says, I can't give it to you. And so we all went into kind of a sadness, and it lasted, a couple of weeks. And then this one morning, I'm sitting there in meditation, and I'm just kind of arguing with God and saying, I do not understand this. This does not make any sense to me. This person, this Manoush, belongs in our school, and I don't care who's president. And so at that point, a little door opened up and this thought came in my mind. It said, why don't you try working with her online? And I thought, wow, that's pretty neat. So I jump up, I go over to my computer to send a note to them. And there's already a note on my computer from Manoush's parents. And it says, why don't you work with her online? And it turns out her mother had had the same kind of experience I had of just, frustration, and all of a sudden this message comes in. So we said, okay, let's try it. And of course, we weren't set up for that. All of our classes were in the Pacific time zone, and Manoush was in Iran. And, we'd never done this before. The connection wasn't that great. But mainly because of Manoush's perseverance. She just made it happen. She said, I'm gonna do this. And she did it. And then she opened the doorway for everybody else, which is will be a lifelong memory, Manoush, for you to know that you were the key in that. One little incident I'll just share, it's, because I was her math teacher that first year. And so we've been talking about math for a while. And then, I think it was about, it's in the middle of the afternoon for me, and I'm just kind of going along. And I say, okay, are you ready for your test? And she looked at me and says, Nitai, could we reschedule it? I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open. It's 2:30 in the morning here. And I said, oh, yeah, I forgot. Okay, we'll reschedule it. But it was the idea of being able to stretch the boundaries that she set, which I have to also include Varsha in this year. Varsha did an incredible job of carrying that tradition on. And almost all of Varsha's classes this year started at 10 p.m. or later. But anyway, it was just that energy that you put out, Manoush, that made this all possible. And I will always be appreciative of that. And congratulations on graduating from our high school. Here's your diploma.
Okay. I'm speechless again. So, thank you so much, dear Nitai. Thank you a lot. I recited a poem, and I'm going to read it out loud. I wrote it today, and it's from heart. I'm sorry if it might be wrong at some point, but yeah. So hello. So I guess this is it. Summarizing 12 years of schooling or Zooming in just 10 minutes. I was going to give a silent speech because sometimes silence speaks louder than words. And I didn't want to face writing down my feelings and expressing them. It's just so much to take in, but here we go. This is it, my grad speech, supposed to fit in 10-minute brief. First grade in public school made Unkaj be so cool, excelling in the state, living in a good state. Personality disorder begins, the Delhi Iranian school brings. Not uncommon to ditch it, with my parents to miss it. To stop to ditch, homeschooling the kid, only student in the class, arguing over religious facts. Socializing, dancing here, sparks up my talent here. Competitions are no fear, performance is just so clear. PP International School, standing on my own on foot, strict English ED all alone, holding myself not to blow. Looking at the brighter side, center in the brightest spot, Hindi be my secret lang, being my own favorite gang. Representing Suda School, expectations to the roof, rich kids be slaying it, Hoto Suda let me breathe. A perfectionist mindset plus Tehran International School, Farsi after 9 years, get 97 face fears. To fine arts or to science, that's the question. Depression hits silently, hitting my body physically. Spending life as in hell, seeking a power's help, coincidence they call it, miracle, I call it. Politics interferes my world, I don't really get to go. USA used to be my dream, the ED, now be the dream. WebEx, Skyping, Zooming starts way before Corona comes, being the only kid online, as complex as bittersweet. World narrows down in my room, Tai Chi be my only move, being the national champion, alone myself in my room. Online school expands right then, safe places where I stay, sitting behind the screen still, smiling boxes, talking freeze. Senior year is chaos, working all day nonstop. Peace pleads, people please. My vision views vivid with ease. To fine arts or to physics? That's the question. Arts hits my face so hard. Holy sky brights my day so light. To chill, to dream, or to serve, to heal are two different ways to flow. My energy goes for glow. Writing poems, new path, expressing mind facts which lasts. Studying with my family, Ananda heals me rapidly. That's how I survived all the mess with some pride. I loved all my years with tears, doesn't mean it ends the tears. Not sad for any crime I committed on the ride. I ain't perfect all the time, but I try to be the right time, right place, right move, my motto, right, I try so hard to flow. Lost without you all now makes me think I'll fall now. Trying to prove myself wrong, I'll stand up wise and strong. I love you for being there in this journey all the way. Positively, I have changed. Positively, I will change. Started it all with love, ups and downs, all with love, ending it all with love. I will spread it all with love. Thank you so much for everything. I don't want to, so I want to thank my parents first for being there with me all the time through our ups and downs, all these hard times we had and everything. It just means a lot to me to have supporting parents who support me all the time. And I want to thank dear Nitai for making this happen. It was something, it was a miracle, like I said, and you are very special to me, and I want to thank you from the bottomest point of my heart for making my school, my education happen. And I want to thank everyone, my teachers, my peers, everyone in the school. I actually don't want to name because I feel like I'll forget someone and then I'll spend the rest of my life regretting the fact that I missed this person. So I'm going to say it overall. So thank you for supporting me in my personal life, my educational life, every way around. It could have been possible without you. Okay, I'm getting emotional like Varsha did. Like Carlota and Varsha. I want to thank Carlota and Varsha for being the best seniors ever with me, because I don't think it would have been again possible without you guys. Or I love you guys, and also all the students, everyone, my classmates. Sometimes they would be just asking how I was doing, and it just meant a lot to me that someone across the world cares that how I'm doing, although they haven't met me in person or anything. So I think one of the highlights of this year is that people really cared for me miles and miles across the world. And although some people in here right next to me didn't really care how I felt on the inside. So I guess our school is just perfect in my opinion. And I wanted to thank you for making this possible. I love you.
Beautiful.